Hi, I'm Brandon Poe, founder of Poe Group Advisors and creator of the Accounting Practice Academy. You are listening to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast, where we talk about stuff in the accounting world. If you're looking to buy or sell a practice, we are the premier accounting practice intermediary firm in the industry. Check us out at pogroupadvisors.com. If you're a firm owner looking to build a more profitable practice while actually reducing owner hours, sign up for our practice management workshop, which only runs a few times per year. Learn more at accountingpracticeacademy.com.
Hi, Accountant's Flight Plan listeners. My name is Ian Brennan. I'm the creative director here at Poe Group Advisors. And before we start this week's episode, I wanted to hop on and give a little preamble because this episode is a little bit different. This one is sort of an experience share where we've interviewed Mario Pizzamigio, who recently went through Accounting Practice Academy, our virtual workshop. And this one's not as structured as the podcast. I actually edited it for a full video. So you can watch the video online or you can just listen to the podcast. But this one's much more of an experience share where it's just us chatting about what it was like for him to go through the workshop. It's not all the snappy, catchy bits that you get in those 30-second or 2-minute testimonials. It's more of the contemplative parts where you get to hear about where Mario was before the workshop or where he is now, where he's going, why he joined. We get all of that thought and perspective and influence that Mario has. Honestly, so much fun interviewing Mario, and it felt more compelling to share this interview than for Brandon and I to try to talk about Accounting Practice Academy. We figured you guys would get more out of it. And so if you're thinking about the workshop and whether it be worth your while or if you'll get your ROI, give this a listen. That's all I have. Enjoy the episode.
So when I had started APA, we had just over 650 clients, and we were doing about 350 in revenue. And then after APA, for next year, so committed already for next year, we have 500 clients, but revenue is up to 500,000. So we're doing less work and making more money. Without any other, we didn't switch tax software or pick up any additional expenses. We just sort of dialed in based on, on what the modules in APA were teaching. And we took, like, I had a business client that was a $1,500 business return and a $350 tax return. And she's now a $1,700 a month advisory client, so we did that a few different times. And we just got rid of a lot of the low dollar, low complexity kind of work that was just sort of taking up the spaces in between, and we freed up that time that I could allocate back to the higher dollar clients, where we can offer more service to them and we can provide a greater value to them than just a W-2 and a mortgage interest kind of client. So we're about 100 clients less and 150,000 more in revenue. We're making more money and working less. I mean, I don't know, like I said, like that could be the whole testimonial right there. Do you want to work less and make more money? Okay, take the class, right? I'm making more money. I'm working less. I'm spending more time with my family. I mean, what else could you ask for, right? I mean, realistically, what else could I possibly ask for? 100%. I would take the class over and over and over and over and over again, and would still, I'm sure, the 50th time still learn something new. When I did the when you were divide them up, right, and like this was like the perfect zone and the practice zone, and I looked at those people in the practice zone and I like fired them, right? It was like 100 people, and I just was like, I'm done. Like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. And I basically practice firing people that's what I use that zone for, just to get my time, right? And I'm like, here's these 100 some odd clients. It was like 87 or something that I ended up firing. But, just looking at the amount of time that I spent on those returns, on those clients, and the revenue that I was generating. And I was like, well, I can go flip burgers at McDonald's and make roughly the same amount of money with a whole hell of a lot less stress. Right. So I just fired him all week one. I was like, you're gone, all of you. And then it was crazy, but you know what? I mean, we have more than replaced, not as many clients, but the new clients that we've been bringing in are, 4x, 5x what we were charging the other people. And we can't stop them. Like they just keep coming in. Like it's every week. Like so 2 weeks, not this week that's already started, but the 2 weeks prior, we signed 10 new individual clients, even though I tried desperately to say, we're probably not bringing enough value to the relationship. They're like, that's okay. We're happy to pay whatever the rate is. I said, okay. And so, we got rid of all these low dollar clients and we're bringing in all these higher ones. And I never would have done that. I never would have had the courage or the strength or the resolve to do that if I hadn't taken this course. Seriously, like the course is worth its weight in gold. I can't say that enough. It absolutely 100% no doubt changed my outlook on my business. The way that I want to do business, the way that I interact with my clients, the way that I interact with my staff. And it got a lot of my wife appreciated it because now I'm not the stranger at the dinner table anymore. Right now I'm like involved in family life again, and it's all because of really being forced to take a hard look at what am I doing? Like, why am I just acquired these businesses. As people were retiring, I would just pick up a practice, and somebody else's charity client became my charity client, even though I had no relationship with them. And I was always just nervous to cut them loose. But then really being forced to take a look at it was really what sort of set me off on this path of just, I let a bunch of people go. I put a disclaimer on the bottom of my email that says, it says, I don't check emails after 5 o'clock on the weekdays. I don't check emails on the weekends, holidays, or times that I'm out of office. And then it says, if you're having an actual emergency, please hang up and dial 911. And it was, and I sent out emails to my entire practice, and I just said, listen, I know that you guys have become accustomed to, being able to email me on the weekend and having me respond, but I just can't do that anymore. And I just can't. And it was really well received. Most people were like, that's totally, everybody should do that. And one guy said, my wife read it and she said she wishes I would put it that same policy for my work emails. And, I did have a couple people push back, and they said, well, we're paying for a service. And I said, that's fine. I'm not the only CPA in the DC metro area. I'm sure you'll find another one out there who would be willing to. I'm not that person anymore. I can't be that person and expect to still be a father and a husband and a good boss and be able to provide all these services to everybody if I'm running myself ragged. So it was definitely a life altering experience for me to go through the course. Like I said, I absolutely got 100% what I was hoping to get out of it. I'm back in the driver's seat. I'm the business owner, not the clients. And it provides income for my family, and it isn't my whole entire life. Like I work and I'm done. And at 5 o'clock, I turn it all off and I leave it all here and I walk away from it. And whatever happens, and I'll come back the next morning and deal with it. And so just giving me that sort of like I said at the beginning, like empowerment. I'm not sure that's the right word to use. I just don't know what other word to use, but it was very empowering to be told you're in control. Like, I mean, I know I'm in control, but for somebody else to say, right, like you are in control, you set the expectations. You define what the rules are. You plan your own vacations. And you know what? They're your vacations. They belong to your family, not to your clients. Don't work, period. What's the worst that's going to happen? And I'm like, well, I'm going to lose clients. Okay, fine. But I did that because I fired them all, and new clients came in. And I think it's in one of the modules where you're talking about, like, it's so scary to fire a client, but the void fills so quick, right? With new clients will come in, and that's exactly what happened. Like I just said, well, we're getting rid of all these people and we'll figure something out. If I have to reduce my household expenses to account for the loss of revenue, then fine, that's what we'll do. But that client void is filled up, and I more than doubled my prices to everybody, and we lost only, I was expecting to lose another 20% of my client base, and we only lost 4%. And I was like, well, crap, that means I didn't raise them high enough, right? Like I didn't lose enough people. So clearly I'm still not charging enough. I'm still bringing so much value to the table that even at these higher rates, people are sticking around and new people are coming on. And I just say, these are our rates. And they say, okay, we're fine with that. Yeah, that's great. And I don't work weekends. Oh, that's great. Okay, no problem. So I think it's more like we just kind of get in our own way as business owners, and we have this belief that if we don't bend over backwards, then we can't be successful. We can't run a successful service industry if we're not at our clients' beck and call every second of every day, and that's just not the truth. And I think it took me going through this program to really understand that and believe that and know that there's a different way to do it that doesn't make it so that I'm basically just a slave to my business and not anything else, right? I just work, and that sucks, man. Like it's a horrible place to be, for sure. My focus is always on the time. Like, are you really spending 8 hours a day in your business, or are you spending 16 hours a day in your business and getting the same results? And if you had an opportunity to reduce the amount of hours that you're working in the business, but still bring in the same revenue, is that something that interests you? Is that something that you'd be open to? And it may hurt, it may sting, it may force you to change the way you're doing things. But if you're open to that, I think this is a good course. I think it's definitely worth something to, but you gotta be willing. I mean, it's like anything, right? Like it's just like if I go work with a personal trainer, but I'm not really interested, I'm just going to leave the gym and go to McDonald's grab a drive-through on the way home. But if you're serious about it and you don't like where you're at, whether it's the dollar amount that you're bringing in or the amount of hours you're working, I think that you should check this out. I really, I mean, I haven't quite gotten to the point yet where I've said I'll pay for the program for somebody, but it's crossed my mind a couple of times. Like, listen, I will pay for you to go through this because it's life changing, right? And then if you feel like you got value out of it, you can pay me back for it. And if you didn't, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me because I don't see, like I said, I don't see how anybody could go through this program if they come in with an open mind and a desire to change what they're doing. I don't see how they could walk away and not go, hell yeah, that was awesome. It was just like, I knew, right? Like the moment I read the email, I was like, okay, the time is now. Like if I don't do it now, I'm always going to find an excuse. Like there's always going to be something else going on. And I knew I was working too much. I knew that I was constantly at my desk or on my phone, and even at dinner the phone was always arm's reach away, and I knew that it was not a good place to be. I just didn't know how to fix it. And when APA came along and Ian was telling about what the course is designed to do, how it's designed to help, that it, like I just kind of like I mean I don't, it's weird, like I knew, right? Like I just had a feeling. I'm like, this is what I need to do. Like I just need to do it, and yes, I have other stuff going on, but this is what's going to make the change. And I think like shortly after I had signed, because I had signed up, but it was still like a few weeks out before the class started. And I think it was right in that time period that my older son, who's in the Army, had called, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? It was 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm just shooting out some emails. And he's like, you know what? All you're ever doing is working. He's like, every time I talk to you, you're working. He's like, that's not fair because I have 2 older kids and 2 younger kids, and my younger kids are 8 and 10. And then this son is 24, and then I have a 26-year-old daughter. And he was, my son was mad, and he was like, it's not fair to the little kids. Like, you're not around, all you're doing is working. He's like, that's not how it was when we were that little. Like, you gave 100% of your time to us. And he's like, that's not right. And for about 20 minutes, like, he read me a riot act over the phone, and I was like, and I took it very quietly, and I just listened, because he's not wrong. I wrote to him like a couple of days later. I'm like, you know what, I had already signed up for this class, but I just want to share with you, like, your phone call really gave me the conviction to take this seriously, and really, really take a hard look at the number of hours that I spend in front of a computer working. So I guess when you ask, what was I expecting or hoping to get out of it, I was hoping to get exactly what I got, right? I was hoping to get control of my business, so that it could provide for my life and not be my life. So I think as owners, like, we have to get out of our own way and realize that the way that we have been doing things is not the only way to do it. And being open to those suggestions and the peer group, and listening to what other people are doing and what is working and what isn't working. That sort of desire or ability to accept the criticism and be willing to make changes. I think that's key to taking away, like you're definitely going to take the cream for sure when you take the class, but like, there's that little extra, right? Like the angel share of the bourbon barrel, right? That evaporates during the distillation process. Like, it's that little extra that if you're just open and just listen and just be willing to say, something out there could be better than what I'm doing. Let me listen and see if it's available here. That if I keep rambling too much, you let me know. But I'm happy to share. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it was absolutely the best thing that could possibly have happened for me to go through APA, and I would do it again in a heartbeat for sure. And just start all over and pretend like I had never done it. And okay, what can I uncover this time, right? Because I'm sure, like, 100%, there's got to be stuff in there that I missed. Like, I was on such a euphoric high in week 1. I couldn't even tell you what happened in week 2, because I still was firing people and felt really good about it. So yeah, I would definitely go through it again, and see what else, what did I miss the first time? What other nuggets can I uncover? What other changes can I make that are, going to get the more of a balance. I mean, it's not even a balance anymore. Like, I feel like I'm in a good balance right now, but shift it more towards, instead of taking 3 weeks, can I get 6 weeks of vacation in there somehow, and not disrupt workflow? Is that possible? Probably. Just because I haven't thought of it, or been able to conceive that as a possibility. This course, if you really take it to heart, and like, really to the letter, here's what you need to do, and be open to that. I think anybody that hasn't taken this course, that's considering it, if you come with an empty plate, and be prepared to load up and eat the food that's on it, no matter what it is, and try it out. I mean, I don't see how anybody could not walk away feeling full and satisfied. Every week during the class, when we had that check-in, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to report this to somebody, and I'm gonna have to slap my numbers up there for God and country to see, and explain why I didn't do X or Y. And who wants to do that? Who wants to sit there and go, yeah, I didn't do anything? So, like, I was like, not me, right? So I was like, well, I'll make sure come Thursday on this call, everything's gonna be done, and I'm gonna have these numbers, and I'm gonna have made some progress. And even if it's just one step, I want to be able to say I did something, right? I made some progress towards my goal, and it was one tiny step this week, because that's all I had, because I had, final exams or bar prep or whatever it was that was going on at the time. I still made progress. I'm still taking baby steps. And then other weeks I was able to come back and go, yeah, look, I made a bunch of changes this week. I looked at a bunch of different things, and we rolled out this package, and we started developing this particular service offering. And but as long, it's that accountability, to me, that is really that's what's going to force you to continue to make progress. We still have just a bunch of stuff up in the air. We're developing new packages, new service offerings. We're cutting off some lines. We are really digging into like trying to find like a very narrow niche to sort of plant our flag and stake our claim in that particular area. But as we're working towards that, we're streamlining the existing practice and growing revenue, reducing the number of returns. So we're still very much in flux, and we're still kind of all over the place. But 5:01 every day, my phone is turned off and my email is shut down, and I'm walking downstairs, and we're hanging out. And so that is right now I'm good with just that, and the business is still in a little bit of chaotic mode, but 5 o'clock I'm back with my family, and that's what had been from day one the driver for me. No, I was just gonna say, like when I said, like I like preaching from the mountaintops about this, because when I look at my numbers, I mean 100% of this is directly related to me going through the course. And just being forced to do these sort of analysis on the business and looking at what I was doing, and I'm working less and making more. I mean, you could end the testimony right there, right? Like, take this course and you'll work less and make more. Bye. Right. I mean, it is definitely fact. There's no doubt in my mind that where I'm at now and where we're going from here is a direct result of being in the program. I mean, what else could you ask for, right? I mean, realistically, what else could I possibly ask for? 100%. I would take the class over and over again, and would still, I'm sure, the 50th time still learn something new. My name is Mario Pizzamigio, and I'm an APA member.
Thanks for listening to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast. If you like what you heard today, please follow us so that you can get updates when new episodes are released, and share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. You can also follow Poe Group Advisors on social media. Please visit our website for more information at poegroupadvisors.com.